Hello and welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. This one is for my Exodia Hope for Escape Exodia deck. The first set of cards I run are the 5 Exodia pieces that are the main win condition of this deck. Get all 5 in my hand, I win the duel. Next monster I run is 3 card D, which when it is normal summoned during the main phase 1 this turn is special summoned. I can send it to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. I run 3 Swift Scarecrow that I can use to negate one of my opponent's direct attacks and then the battle phase. Quite nice for stalling out, waiting for me to collect the 5 Exodia pieces. I run 1 copy of Spirit Reaper as my last monster. Spirit Reaper is a 300 attack, 200 defense monster that is level 3. That cannot be destroyed by battle. However, if it is targeted by a card effect, destroy it straight away. And if it attacks my opponent directly and deals damage, discard 1 random card from your opponent's hand. Now getting into spells, I run quite a few spells in this deck. The first spell I run is 1 copy of Hope for Escape. No, 1 copy of 1 Day of Peace, sorry, that's not Hope for Escape, that's a trap. 1 copy of 1 Day of Peace, that allows both players to draw a card. Neither player takes damage until the end of my opponent's next turn. I run 1 copy of Potted Duality, which allows me to reveal the top 3 cards of my deck. Then add 1 of the copies to my hand, the rest get shoved back into my deck. The next card I run is 1 copy of Dark Eruption, which allows me to add a dark monster with 1500 or less attack from the graveyard back to my hand. That's quite nice, and it's a very useful card. If one of the Exodia pieces gets sent to the graveyard, I can add 1 piece back to my hand. That could actually win me the game in some cases. The next card I run is 1 copy of Final Countdown, which allows me to pay 2000 of my life points. The main purpose in this deck is just to lower my life points. You'll see why when I get into the traps, why I wish my life points to be low. And it basically puts the duel on a 20-turn countdown. If they can't beat me in 20 turns, which is very common now in this format, it's a very fast-paced format. Like I said, the main purpose of that card is to lower life points. Then I run 1 copy of Gold Sarcophagus, which allows me to banish 1 card, 2 turns later add back to my hand. Quite self-explanatory. I will then run 3 copies of Chicken Game. Chicken Game is a field spell that allows me to pay both players to pay 1000 life points to either draw 1 card, destroy the card, or your opponent to gain 1000 life points. Neither player can activate cards or effect in response to this, so it means that once it's on the field, if they activate one of the effects, there's no chain sequence that can be created from it. And the player with the lowest life points takes no damage. Very useful in this deck, because this deck focuses on getting your life points low, your opponent's life points high. You'll see why when we get into traps. Then I run 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin basically give my opponent 1000 life points, draw a card. Moving into traps, there are 3 copies of Wobbukill. Wobbukill is a trap that allows me to take no battle damage for a turn. Well, it reduces it to 0, so I still take it, but it reduces it to 0, meaning that my life points don't decrease. Very useful stool. Then I run 3 copies of Reckless Greed. Reckless Greed is a trap that allows me to draw 2, then skip my next 2 draw phases. However, if you activate them all in 3 in a chain sequence together, then you only have to skip 2, they don't stack. So meaning you only having to skip 6 draw phases, you only skip 2 for all 3 and get 6 cards straight off the bat in the process. Very useful. Now this is the main card of the deck, well, one of the 2 main cards of the deck. Hope for Escape. Hope for Escape is when my life points are 1000 lower than my opponent's, I can activate it to pay 1000. Then for every 2000 life points difference, I get to draw a card. Very nice in an Exodia deck, lots of amplified card draw. Next, I played 3 copies of Jar of Greed. Jar of Greed is just a +1 for me. Then I ran 3 copies of Gift Card. 3 copies. Gift Card basically is a card to increase my opponent's life points by 3,000 points each one. Very useful to get the opponent's life points higher, more card draw from Hope for Escape. And the final card I run is 2 copies of Accumulated Fortune. Accumulated Fortune is a trap card that, if activated in a chain of 4 or higher, chain link 4 or higher, draw 2 cards. Can't activate it if there are multiple card effects. Multiple card / effects with the same name in the chain. So if I activated a Wobbucoo, a Hope for Escape, a Wobbucoo, a Gift Card, a Hope for Escape, and then Accumulated Fortune, if my opponent activated a Wobbucoo as well, then this card's effect wouldn't go off. It would just go straight to the graveyard. That's it for the main 40 card deck. And then I run 2 cards in my extra deck. No, in my side deck, sorry. My side deck consists of another copy of Portal Duality and a Different Dimension Capsule, which is like a Gold Sarcophagus, apart from that it will stay on the field when activated for 2 turns. If it is it's banished as normal, but it's banished face down, so my opponent won't see what it is, and I will know what I banished. But if this card gets destroyed while it's on the field for those 2 turns, then that card is lost to you. So that's why I don't run it in my main deck, but it's useful in a side deck if I want to say, don't want to give away what I'm going to add. So that's it for this deck list. Let's see how well it does on my Geo Pro.